All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Get Yourself Right Wednesday night. I'm going to put you on a conversation. We're streaming live in a different way, but I wanted simplicity today because we're going to do some demonstrations where we're standing. So I'm going to orient things. Pardon the wobble, it's live. And I'm having a conversation with Coach Ryan here. Someone a couple people are coming, yet we're waiting for them. So bear in mind, we'll get started just officially in just a moment, and I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Dr. Kevin Drina here, and I have Coach Ryan right next to me. Hope we're coming in loud and clear. I'm going to pull up the chat to see how we're doing. Let me know if it's coming through. And it's interesting. There we are. We got a couple things up and running on my end. Now we got the internet up and running. I got the chat up. Say hello. I'm going to type in hello. Let me know if you can hear. How is the volume? And we are doing that. So today we are demonstrating two things. One is called center point meditation. The other is called AO scan. And today what we're going to be doing with the AO scan technology is doing something called the body systems. And the body systems is a component of the technology where it's scanning all the features and factors of what it is to be a human being in your body. And it's going to give us a report with causes of things that are going awry, the areas of the body that are going awry, the states of mind, the emotional states associated with this issue, and home-based recommendations of what you can do to help these different areas, situations that the technology finds. Just like if you got an x-ray and the bone was broken, the doctor would say, we have to set the bone, we have to put the cast on, you need to do some time for healing, and then you need some rehabilitation. Well, with the body systems, we're going to be correlating what shows up the most frequently between all the reports. Perhaps you need hydration, perhaps flexibility, perhaps movement, perhaps a change of food intake. These type of recommendations will show up on the scan in relationship to whatever's shown up in your life in that moment. And that's part of the beauty of the technology. It's in the moment, real-time data to make real-time decisions based on information that is pertinent to your specific situation, not because it falls into a book and these are the top recommendations to get mostly good results. By the way, this is what most of healthcare is practicing. It's kind of point, shoot, see the result, and point and shoot again. Hopefully it's better the second time, the third time, the fourth time. And that's not a way to do it. So Coach Ryan, if you could come on up. Let me say hello to everybody. We're doing that. And see, the volume looks good to me. And so Coach Ryan here has been my, I dare say, faithful guinea pig. And he allows me to ask, we have a lot of good conversations about all kinds of topics.
Sure.
Anyone who's watched us before knows we talk about laws of success, mindset training, basically helping get your head straight around your life so that you can actually grow something for yourself, but focus energy into that. But right now we're moved on to something that complements that. And sometimes, as you know, in our training, you can comment on this, is that our mind can block our body.
Sure.
And block our life.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have in your hands a tool that can be utilized in conjunction with any strategy that you're trying to implement to make your life better.
Right.
You know, because what you have is, like you were just saying a few minutes ago, you have real-time data coming back at you that you can use to make important decisions.
That's right. So whatever industry you're in, there's stress in your industry, there's stress in the topics conversation, there's stress in the conflicts. And so this is helping you manage that type of situation. But we also have old stuff that we have to deal with. I mean, we all have desires and expectations for our future. And I don't know about you, but I want to have a good one. I think that's the motivation for most people.
It's a good day, right?
Better days are good day.
You better enjoy your life.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're not enjoying your life, well, there's answers for that, and there's reasons why for that. And that's what we're here to help solve for you. So anyway, Coach Ryan, I'm going to pull up your profile here, and then we'll start our scan.
Sure.
And then from that scan, and I may be able to pull up for everybody to see at home. I think I know how. I do know how. And we can take a look at it if you're willing to have everybody see it. Or we'll simply talk about it and people can take a look at their own. I have videos about this topic. I'm actually putting together another video, a little more depth and detail about this exact system scan that we're talking about. And I'll pull up to the camera. You can see, let's see, I might have to flip the screen, but we're seeing the AO scan technology right here. And I apologize, there'll be a better view in a different way. One of the primary features of this is called the body systems. Simply, we just click the button. That's the beauty of this. Is a lot of simple click of the button and things are off and running. And see, everything's checked off. So what we're going to be checking, you can see the check marks. I click the main system button. I can flip the screen here. Hold on. Ryan and I gotta perhaps switch positions. Maybe not. And let's see. Oh, nonetheless, too much right now, so we'll pass that later. But what you're seeing here checked off, and we could check a single system, or for Ryan today, we're going to check all the systems: circulation, connective tissue, digestive, endocrine, lymphatic, musculoskeletal, nervous, respiration, sensory system, the nervous system, the integumentary, that's your skin, your hair, your nails, the urinary systems, the chromosomes, and the human cells and mitochondria. Each of these areas of your body have, I'll start to scan right now, have thousands of operations and thousands of things occurring. Each of these has specific tones and frequencies, and these are measurable. And so what this is doing right now, you can see that it's operating, and this is the signal that it is operating. You see the movement there. It's literally beaming his body. And from this case, it's from here to there, but this can be done anywhere in the world. And what science is that? What technology is that? It's called scalar. It's quantum physics. It's understanding how 3G, 4G, 5G work. And this is things beyond me, but there's many things I've done and studied that already gave me great understanding of that. I don't necessarily know all the super technical stuff. However, it works. And we're getting very accurate information compared to whatever blood work, whatever exams and studies and tests that can be had. It seems to be 100% as far as correlation. So that's highly reliable, highly been tested out by many professionals that have gone into this. But right now, the test is it's going to take a few moments while it does its thing. In the meantime, what we're going to be doing is, essentially, what is important for the average person to have this as a tool in their toolbox. You know, either you have a professional that you go to that uses it to help identify things, or you get it for yourself. And it's the intention of the company, actually. You know, this, Ryan, I don't know if you knew this. The original technology of this was $40,000, about just under $40,000 for a professional like myself to buy and use in my office. It's now going down to $500, purchase the handheld unit, and $150 a month for the service, the connection to the cloud systems, the connection to the database, to the ongoing updates, frequencies, and understanding of how the body's adapting to these.
You say you have like a bigger computer system. That's $1,000.
Well, there's a bigger tablet. So a tablet's bigger.
Are there any
piece.
additional features?
You can purchase the light goggles that have different light.
Does that work with yours?
It's not technology. It's just glasses you put on. Remember, I had you sit back there in the room, listen to the songs. You put
So
the
that works
glasses.
in conjunction with either,
It's conjunction with both the advanced one and this current one,
and offline too.
and offline too. In fact, just wearing the colored glasses can be very therapeutic. You find that right color that's for your vibe in that moment. But it will tell you if you need it in relation to what song, what color that is. And if you purchase that component, it's $200 one-time cost. You get, or just under that, you get those glasses and you're off and running. Some people already have stuff like this because there's other forms of healthcare in optometry called synoptics that use colored light to heal the eyes of the brain and nerve system. Most people haven't heard of that.
What additional tools are there?
Oh,
Just in the glasses, well, so.
there's a future release for what's called thermal scanner. This is where we're measuring body temperature at skin level. Many women have heard of this, thermography. This is in placement of mammograms. Mammograms, they do all the pressure and the smashing, and they shoot radiation in there. That's extremely sensitive tissue to these electromagnetic frequencies. Thermal scanner is sensing heat. And if there's something out of balance, illness, disease, or malfunction, it shows up as hot or cool compared to the normal frequency.
From irritation.
Various forms of irritation and lack of function. Yeah.
Inflammation, things like.
Inflammation
Click
or
the scan stuff.
scan is done. We got the report. So how long was that? That was about 3 minutes, 4 minutes? Not even. We were just
Conversation.
good conversation. Now, before I even go into anything, I'm gonna send Ryan the report. I'm also going to send myself the report. So like a good professional, I can help keep track of my client's progress, of my client's challenges. It's simply just adding my own my doctor for the email where I send all my doctor notes for my clients, or my clients send stuff for me is where I'm sending this. And now I can pull up your scan anytime in the future, and we can start have comparison over time if we need to, if we want to.
Sure. You have a couple of them.
Yeah. So what it's doing right now is preparing the scan. It's 27 pages. Now, some of that information is, well, what's the test doing? What's going on in this test and what's happening? But the rest of those pages are the official report of each of the systems. So we'll pull that up in a second. It's going to take a few moments. So let that think for a second. I'm gonna
Use some pigeons to get that PDF over.
I will. It's definitely robust. It's funny. We want the speed of our results right now. However, there's literally hundreds of thousands of bits of data being calculated right now.
Absolutely fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. The world we grew up in, not to date us, but man,
How many people out there,
so now,
raise your hand in the chat, say yes in the chat, that were born and remember using a phone on the wall with a cord, Remember getting wrapped up in it, talking to someone?
for how cool it was when you had that metal thing you could pull out, like actually walk around the house.
Man, my goodness. It's fun to think about.
Go away.
So I'm getting ready to pull up Coach Ryan's scan. It'll be here in a moment. Meanwhile, one of the things that is important, and we're about to show it in a moment, is how to take care of yourself at home. See, this has components for mental stress, emotional stress, issues that show up in your life. It has information for data about your whole body. It has recommendations on what to do at home. Sometimes we need actual techniques, actual methods to unlock the stress.
Recommendations, a pathway to utilize the information you're being given, right?
Yes. So now you have this data. Now what? Almost there. So there's certain techniques, and tonight we're going to show one of them that providers can perform on a patient, a client, or people can learn to do for themselves. And this is what I train to get better at clients, but also want it for myself. So oftentimes I'm not near someone that I have good faith in or trust, have good rapport with that does body work on me. I do have many doctors I like, professionals I like, people I like. However, sometimes that's limited, and sometimes I want it now at 6 o'clock in the morning or midnight or whatever time it is where I'm having a problem or I want to do self-care.
I've received my report.
Coach Ryan's got the report. I'm going to pull it up as well. And we'll talk about one of those things. Now, those are all individual PDFs. Go to the top for me for a second. Very, very top. There's a link at the very top. If you don't want to download all those PDFs, you don't want to download all them onto your phone, you click the link, it goes to the web page, a very private, secure web page where your personal data of that one test is stored all in one PDF. That's okay. Click forward. So click the link and continue the site. So sometimes in the links, there's a warning that flashes, Google is security, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because of the AO scan, how it has to do its thing. But you click forward, go to the site, and now it pulls it all up in one fashion. And you have the report right here on the handheld unit. And if you get the bigger unit, the tablet, it's a bigger view and all kinds of other nice visual features. Well, let me grab Coach Ryan scan, pull it up. So that one. Yeah, we got that. And now I'm going to share the screen here. One moment. Let's do that. And okay, Sharon. Okay. All right, Ryan's good to go. So here we have, you're seeing at home a view. I'm trying to get this so I can use it better. 1 second. There we are. We're taking a look at Ryan AO scan report of what's called the body systems. So you can see the first one that we're going to be talking about is called the circulatory system. And you can see the top details, describes a little bit, also known as the cardiovascular system. Consists of independent systems that work together, the heart, the lungs, these arteries and veins. And it gives you more detail. It's responsible for blood flow. It gives you details about what it does. And everyone I believe most people can get behind the knowledge of what the blood flow and the circulatory system are for. However, he wants some clarity. It has images and it has details. Now, if you go to the top, you see it says circulatory body, circulatory vitals. Those are two of the scans and the beam to optimize you. And this is what it found. In the physical structures, the body, and the blood, the vitals, the top 5 factors that are out of balance. Then you'll see circulatory causes. These are the 5 top things that are related. Maybe you have it, maybe you deal with these things or not. However, there's some kind of a tone that relates to this. Though we're seeing chronic influenza, different chickenpox varieties, these are all chickenpox stuff, and it's sensitivity to oil, peanuts. Seems like I don't know if you have that kind of story in your life. I'd be interested to hear, but
I think most people do. Peanuts, they're a legume that really do cause a lot of problems, and the peanuts or peanut oil that most people consume is highly processed,
right,
just by nature
of
food that we are fed. It's it's kind of rough business.
And let's say, I don't know about you, but maybe you ate a lot of peanut butter in your past. Maybe there's a tone. It may not be peanut butter, but maybe a tone that you're in the circulatory system that matches the same thing as a chronic peanut oil sensitivity. Or maybe you really do have a chronic peanut oil sensitivity, and it's hidden in so many foods.
Well,
we know that. I know that you know that it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I think we all do. I don't think it's good for us.
Now, personally, one of the things I found out is that on the 4th part of the chart, circulatory emotional causes, sometimes these emotional or mental states can imitate a physical cause. So I don't know what the concept of stress or skepticism or hopelessness or painful feelings or self-esteem conflict, which most people have varieties of these things, how it's playing out in your system and in your body and your sensitivities, I can't tell you that. However, we can begin to decode that through what's called the neuroemotional technique process and applied kinesiology. your body would indicate where these stressors originated from. We can unlock them. And that's a proven system in neuroemotional technique, netmindbody.com. If anyone wants to search that, do some real big homework on how the mind affects the body. My goodness gracious, go to that link. Thank you, Linnell, and for commenting about the volume. I didn't see that just till now. So that being said, the mind affects the body and vice versa. What is the first law of nature? A comment towards the Bible and a comment towards quantum physics. Mind is all is mind, and mind is all. The first area of challenge is in the mental realm. And from the mental realm, it goes into the physical realm. And our perceptions, our beliefs, our expectations, our concepts can leave us with stresses and strains, either valid or just imaginary, made up, a fear of something that's not to be feared.
Mind's a powerful thing.
Mind
Around us.
is a powerful thing. What did Coach Ryan just say? Creates the world around us. That's so true. So this is the key right here, the next piece. So I move down to the bottom of the scan for the circulatory section, and you'll see ways to improve your circulatory frequency statistics. So there's 5 recommendations on everyone's report. And here we have massage, hydration, exercise, less alcohol, fatty acid consumption. Now, sometimes these recommendations make complete sense and sometimes they don't. Let's, for example, say you're eating omega-3s. Well, maybe now it's a conversation of the purity of your omega-3. Maybe you need to switch companies. Maybe you need to eat a fish versus a supplement. Find it.
Pacific salmon.
Right, find some Pacific salmon versus farm raised, something like that. So this recommendations doesn't necessarily mean, just like the causes, doesn't necessarily mean that's the thing, but at a minimum, it's going to open the conversation to get clarity, and at a primary, it's going to give you the exact instruction of what to do. Now, the key takeaway here is we have 13 total reports: connective tissue, digestion, all the way down. And so what you're going to want to do when you get this printout is take the recommendations from each of the 13 systems. What recommendation shows up the most in all of them? So let's say in 8 of those recommendations, hydration shows up. Well, water better be on your list to figure out. Maybe as simple as just adding more. Perhaps you got a bunch of lead in your water because you live in the city, or copper issues because the pipes are old, or whatever's going on with the water. Perhaps there's something in the water itself. There's a huge issue with pharmaceuticals leaking and leaching, the synthetic chemicals from the farming industry, and God knows what else is in there I'm not going to mention right now.
Unless you're blessed with, a good water source and solid purification system. Ultimately, a lot of times the best way to get your water or hydration is from fresh fruits in season. Eat your water, eat your water, eat your water. Because, like you were just saying, there's a lot of complications with the water that we drink through taps.
That's another conversation another day.
And bottles.
And look, plastics, the tap water. If you've seen that New York City ad about tap water, I would recommend listening to that. Anyway, that being said, get water purification, and there's systems available for that. So what I'm getting at is the recommendations of what to do sometimes doesn't make sense, because my patient, same thing, 8 of them showed up, hydration. She's like, I drink water all the time. And I smiled real big and I said, where's your water come from? All bottled water from the store. Not even that, the cheap plasticky, not the good plastic, that really foamy, flimsy. The moment that heats up, that water is getting leached full of plastic and who knows what else. And what's in this
Plastic is oil, petroleum right there from the get-go. Petroleum doesn't really mix too well in a water-based system because it's plastic. Oil and water don't mix well. Now you've got that in your system.
And now how does the water and the oil mix in your body?
Well, ultimately it doesn't at all. Your body's got to get rid of it. Somehow, some way, your body's got to get rid of it. But water is the universal solvent, and it will dilute that oil down. And it'll basically just keep being more and more complicated for your cells to deal with the interference scatter.
Now that's a download, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for me. It adds me a little extra oomph to why I want to have clean water. But sometimes You've never thought of this conversation because you didn't even know. You thought you were drinking enough water. You were drinking enough water. You've been buying the water, but body's like, it's not the right water. So the other part,
Or it's poisoned water.
or it's poison water. Or, the other thing is, let's say it is clean water. It is purified water. It's the physical atomic arrangement, the structure of the water affects how it's absorbed. The square bends or the round movement affects the molecular structure of the water, which affects absorbability, which affects detoxification, which affects mineralization, all these things because of water.
And water also responds to intention. It responds to the actions of your mind.
So now our mind is formulating the structure of the water crystals. And the water crystals, if they're in that love frequency, they are congruent. They nurture us, they hydrate us. But when they're in that fear frequency, when those water crystals, they're looking and their form looks like broken glass when they're frozen. And so what's that doing to the water, its absorbability, its functionality in the human body? Well, we know it's not creating an environment for health and wellness.
Yeah. Well, water's biological role on this planet as a universal solvent is to communicate information from cell to cell. That's literally what it does biologically on planet Earth.
Yeah.
It takes information from this cell and it reduces it down to such a small, such a fine level that it passes that information from cell here to cell here.
That's right.
The water. Water is the vehicle that information travels through all living cells on Earth.
That's right.
Pretty important.
And when you're properly hydrated, your nutrients work better, your supplements work better, your meditation works better, your exercise works better, your work goes better. Hydration is so important. However, what a fun conversation to be sidetracked on. But here we are back to how we got there, the results from the body systems. Now, we're going to shift gears and we're going to use the results from the body systems and we're going to focus on the circulatory system. And we're going to do something called center point meditation. This is the other technique, one of the other techniques that I use in my clinic that I have available for the demonstration night tonight. And what it does, it puts the body in a physical orientation to align the mind, the heart, and the lower energy center, where our life energy comes from, and it aligns them. And what does it produce in the data and the results of the science? It produces the meditative state. And the equivalent, listen to this, the equivalent of someone who's been meditating for multiple years. So even though if Ryan, and I believe he has, but let's say Ryan never has meditated, we're going to find the orientation of his body. His body's going to show the way of how to orient to relieve tension, pressure, stress, and pain. The other side of the coin is to align functionality, to align motivation, to align inspiration. That's the thing. When you get in alignment, it just doesn't stop bad things. It aligns good things. That's what we're talking about. So Ryan, let's have your scan out right here. I'm not going to pull it up on the window again, but I got the AO scanner up, trying to find the right angle so you can see it. But in the circulatory system, we had a couple states of mind that were active that relate to stress on the circulatory system. All right. So I'm going to do a test right now. I'm going to ask you, when I orient you so you're facing that way, do that for me. And I'll line you up. So back up and step to your right. So your ass better. Now, what I'm going to do is Ryan, I'm just going to have you think about your name. Okay. Just think about your name. Now I'm going to push him in a couple of different directions and we'll see which way his body is either steady or falls loose. Are you ready to hold steady? Oh, sure. Yeah, it's not going to be hard. It's going to be a couple pounds of pressure. Here we go. I'm going to push from right to left first. Hold. Okay, that was pretty steady. Let's push from left to right. Hold. Okay, we got that. Let's push from front to back. Hold. See, he's leaning forward. Hold. Whoop. You fell right backwards. Look at that. And now I'm going to push you forward. Ready? Hold. Okay, pretty solid. So you, Ryan, which way did you fall? Backwards. So what I'm going to do, now we didn't talk about pain or problems. Right now we're talking about stability. When he thought about his name. Now we're going to think about, I'm going to have him think about one of those words that came up on his circulatory system. Let's find the most. I'm gonna pick one I think is most sensitive, where I feel I get my spidey senses going. So I'm gonna name a word, and I'm gonna push in those directions again. Let's see what happens. You ready? The word is skepticism. So think about that word skepticism. Hold that word in your mind. You ready? I'm gonna push. We'll start from right to left. Here we go. Hold. And 8 tips. The word skepticism. I'm gonna push from left to right. Let's hold. Any tips? Let's think about skepticism. I'm gonna push forward. Hold. Hold. You're really pushing back, Ryan. And now think about skepticism and hold. Okay. So you saw in all 4 directions, he went loose in every direction. He wobbled in every direction. We want stability. So Ryan, now I'm going to have you just kind of let your body relax. I'm going to find the right spot to do the work. And I'm going to have you think about skepticism. And then you're going to just let your body relax and go loose. It's going to want to lean in some direction. Just let it lean. And Ryan's going to let his body go where it wants to go. Thinking about skepticism, the word, all the topics, the conversations, the stories, the people, the environments. Okay, Marshall Place. Now, this is we'll call a bit advanced center point meditation, but let's see what happens. Okay, you ready? So think about that word. I gotta tell you, this is the first time I'm doing it, but I know this stuff works. So I'm just gonna continue on and see how it plays out. You ready? Think about the word skepticism. Here we go. Right to left, hold. You tell me, did I push harder or lighter or the same?
Roughly the same.
Roughly the same. Did you tip more or less?
Less.
The
last time.
Let's push from left to right and hold. Think about skepticism, hold. What about that result? You're solid that time, weren't you?
Fairly solid.
Fairly solid. You didn't tip. I know that. Let's push backwards. Think about skepticism, hold. Let's still got that going on. Okay, so let's check it out. Skepticism. I'm going to push forward, hold. And now he's steady there. Let's push again, hold. Yeah, steady there. So now we know going backwards in skepticism that something's still going on. And what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? Because I'm using the AO scan. I'm combining center point meditation. This is an advanced protocol where I'm combining 2 methodologies, 2 systems to get information to help his body get stable. And as he processes the energy in his body, when his mind thinks about that topic, skepticism, it creates perturbances and imbalances. And I'm highlighting, by doing the push test, where those perturbances are causing him to be out of balance. And how does that connect in the brain? Well, there's something called the cerebellum back here. And we know that the emotional complex of the mind and the cerebellum, which controls movements and coordinates balance and all that, have all this wiring that go together. So literally, when someone gets out of balance in their mind, they've got out of balance in their body. As above, so below. So here we go, Ryan. He's thinking, he's turning. We're going to work on the last piece of skepticism. You ready? Face that way. So I'm going to have him think about skepticism. He fell backwards. I'm going to check a couple spots where that was. We're going to find the answer to make it stable. There we go. So what I'm going to have you do is just let your body relax. I'm going to find the spot. There it is. And breathe in, breathe out, let your body go loose. It's going to want to lean or twist or bend in some direction. We're just going to let it. And I'm going to keep you upright. Let your body go loose. Like you feel it wants to wobble, let it wobble. Maybe with a bend, maybe with a twist. Good. 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 March in place. Just for the audience, because I know what I felt, I know what I noticed, and I do this every day. But what did you notice when we were doing that last part of the maneuver?
My back cracked at one point. I felt fine.
Okay, felt fine. His back cracked at one point. So what is that? That's a tension release. So I was giving his body leverage in a certain direction, which allows certain things to happen, which when it happened, he heard the release. It's the body's own self-alignment mechanism. And now we're going to do the push test. Step here, face that way. I'm going to do all 4 directions again. Ready? And hold. Think about skepticism. Hold. Hold. Backwards. Hold. And forward. Hold. Now, Ryan, I know what I felt. I know what I'm going to say here, but what did you notice doing all 4 of those directions as you were thinking about that word?
I stood fairly firm.
Stood fairly firm. And how would you compare this firmness compared to the first time we did that when we thought about that word? About the same firmness, you better?
Well, I mean, obviously, I held my position easily.
Yeah, held his position more easily. So now, when a scenario, so this is what's going to happen in the future for Ryan. When a scenario that presents itself that has skepticism associated with it, it won't throw him for a loop. You'll be able to maintain your ground, your stability in yourself. That makes sense? In your own okayness. That's important. That's important because if someone's skeptical of you, then it affects you. If you're skeptical of something, it also affects you. So it's about being resistant, resilient, regardless of who's skeptical, even though you know your truth or the truth about a situation. And if someone is skeptical of you, then you can carry on, in despite of their level of skepticism. That's the processing of a scenario that we released using something called center point meditation. Now, if we were to run it again and it showed up on a scan again, well, I know personally, I would move as the professional to what's called neuro-emotional technique. We have great information, great studies about how this changes brain function and brain and mental, emotional stresses, beliefs, and perceptions that leave us in a worse position. So we can find those stressors, release them, let the brain process it, and we get back to normal function. So if skepticism starts showing up in your life again, there's an issue, shows up, or you know that's an issue, we can start to iron it out with other methods in addition to what we just did,
right?
Or repeating what we just did to help process it through.
Indicated through the machine.
Indicated through the machine, and through the technology. So with that being said, this is great. It is an amazing technology. There are a ton of resources for people to complement the technology with. See, in my work as a neuroemotional technique professional, we could find that issue, but it may not be the most important issue for his body. But if you know, for instance, someone knows they're having circulatory issues, they know they have a family history of heart health issues, they know they've ate poor for 20 years of their life, or whatever has happened, we can consciously check in on the circulatory system. We can consciously keep tabs on what we need to do with that system. And if you know that's a weak link in your body, in your family, or whatever, then we're going to put attention on it. And you can do it at home daily if you desire. In fact, I recommend it because of the simple costs of going to any practitioner for what, 3, 4, 5 times? How much are you going to pay for 5 massages at once? Or over say 5 weeks, they pay $100 a massage. If you're paying a newer individual or a practice person, $40 or $50 a month, $60 a massage. Let's do easy math. Let's take $50. You go to 5 massages. How many is that? $250. Well, you almost earn 2 months of daily care if you desire that much effort on yourself. So what's the exchange? What's the time? What about if you need blood work? If you need supplements, and if you need a functional medicine practitioner like me to help you decode what your body requires, that may take thousands of dollars. Come see me, please. I'm open. I'll take that money. I will. However, I know you can get a lot of that service at home at your fingertips for a small percentage of that cost, and get help from me still by scheduling for review sessions. or do your homework on the YouTube channels, figure out how to read your scans. You can be as invested or as little invested as you like, customized to your life. That's part of why I love it. Part of why I love these methods. I want to give people tools to fish, to heal themselves, to help us, to grow themselves. And I can help people along the way and guide them. That's what we're doing. So we're helping people do mindset training. Sometimes we don't know an answer to a sort of problem because we don't even know the problem's there. We never even investigated an answer. Never even shopped around for an answer. And so this helps clarify problems. It helps give us direction when everyone's guessing and all these testing. I mean, I hear it at least once a week from a patient, someone shopping for a healthcare professional, or whatever it may be. I've done 10 weeks of these different tests. I've been to these professionals and that professional. I've done this, that, and everything, and there's no answers. No one's sure of what's going on. And we can solve that problem. The body has the answers, and if it can't with the body, the technology has the answer. And I promise you, neither of them have failed, ever. The body is always giving information, and it's the key of learning how to decipher the information, decode the information. Part of the beauty of technology, part of the beauty that meets experience, meets practitioner with lots of different tools in the shed. And so people can use me or use any professional, but we offer special services and bonuses and techniques and training with this stuff. And that's why I want to bring people on, because I only have so many hands and I only have so many hours in a day, and my energy is spent at a certain point in the week. So I don't know about you, but I like some R&R. I like family time. I like hanging out with my daughter. We do all kinds of fun things. I like hobbies. I like going out with friends and seeing sports games and music and everything else. The best thing I want to do is drive to offices all the time, sitting around a bunch of sick people all the time, spending money on things I don't want to do.
That's not so fun. That don't sound like too much fun.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'll give you kind of a way to end this in a life kind of quote, Socrates kind of thing. This is all about knowing yourself. Know thyself was a quote that I took to heart as someone who's going to become a healthcare professional. There I was, 25, 26 years old, diabetes, weight problems, mental, emotional stress out the yin yang. At that point, I was chewing tobacco all the time. I had leukoplakia, all these bumps and things growing in my jaw. I mean, God, concussions and shoulder dislocations from sports. Where I grew up in the woods, falling out of trees and jumping off of ramps with my bicycle and crashing into things. Fights. My God. I'm surprised I'm alive sometimes. So knowing myself, this has really accelerated my ability to find the hidden things that I've spent years, tens of thousands of dollars of my own money for savings to go to seminars and trainings. And I even left the country at times to go search out information and techniques and people. My goodness, there's a lot packed into this stuff. Brian, any final thoughts for people at home? Questions or what to do, or what's your thoughts?
I'm good, Randy.
You're good. Well, if you want access, my goodness, I didn't put this in the description, but there is links. I'll type my main website where everybody can go to start getting information, get connected, drkeving.com. And this is where you can reach out to me if you have personal questions, emails, phone. If you go to the make appointment section, there's an application to complete. This is where you can just start the process, no money involved. We just start to have a conversation. And if you want to actually try this out, there's a 3-day free trial. You get to experience infinite scans of the voice, of the body, of the mind, of all these frequencies. Just an amazing opportunity to learn to know yourself. You make better decisions for you, your family, your loved ones. And you can go beyond that if you want. So thanks for tuning in. Coach, thanks for being here.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. See you next week, Wednesday night. Get yourself right. Come on down if you're in New Jersey, from near Mount Laurel. You have a couple seats available to do that. Otherwise, I'll see you here on Zoom or on live. Take care, everybody.